There was so much fashion on display over the weekend. Of course, we're talking about the Oscars, but even more on display was everyone who kind of changed their outfits to hit that Vanity Fair after party. So we're going to break down some of the best looks. No better person to do it than author and stylist Heather Newberger. Hi, Heather.
Hey, Natalie. Are you excited to talk about the Vanity Fair party?
I really am. I'm just excited more, Heather, to get you 2 times in 1 week.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's been a joy covering the Oscars with you.
And there has been so much fashion. So let's just start with this. You brought up old Hollywood glam. We kind of started with that earlier in the week. And what caught your eye this time, though, at the after party?
Well, I think it's really interesting when you're talking about the Vanity Fair party specifically, and really all actually, like all the different Oscar parties, because really what we're seeing is a lot of our stars kind of getting out of their more serious looks and really getting into more party attire. So whereas we were talking about old Hollywood, we're also looking at that when it comes to Maude Apatow's look from Saint Laurent. You know, we're also talking about it for Dakota Johnson. She's kind of referencing the mid 60s and this gorgeous Gucci dress, which, you know, her other look was fantastic, but this one really kills. And then we've got Camila Mendes in Carolina Herrera, sort of known for her classic silhouettes. And last but not least, Jessica Chastain in Gucci. She was wearing Gucci on the red carpet. Now she's wearing something just a little bit more fun, a little more form-fitting, and absolutely gorgeous.
Now, some of those really, like we saw there, absolutely stunning gowns. But then when people go to after parties, they tend to be wearing a little less clothes. So we have to talk about the sheer and kind of barely there looks, which is really just party style. Whose style did you like when they kind of loosened up a little?
Well, I think we should talk about Joan Smalls first, who maybe I wasn't crazy about her look, but Elie Saab really created something for her that is wild. You know, we really are seeing that sheer and barely there kind of trend, which we have seen across the runway. So it's fun to see it in more party attire, like on Sydney Sweeney here, who's really highlighting her assets, dare we say, in Miu Miu. And then Halsey, you know, truly barely there. And Kirsten Stewart, who wore Chanel earlier on the runway, but, you know, those tiny shorts she were in, not as exciting, I think, as that sheer look. And Anya Taylor-Joy, my God, she is a favorite of mine. I think she's so gorgeous in that Dior outfit. And last but not least, we've got Janelle Monáe, Kristen Siriano, truly proving that the cutout trend can be worn by anyone of all body types.
Now, some of those certainly, Heather, were barely there. Leaving not a lot to the imagination at your after party. The last thing we have to talk about, almost the last thing we have to talk about, some of those more avant-garde looks. Did you have any favorites?
I love avant-garde fashion. I think it's really great when we're able to see it actually play out on events such as, you know, Oscar parties and especially at the Met Gala. But in this Vanity Fair, you know, after party look, we're seeing so many great things, specifically immediately from Demi Singleton. She's wearing this gorgeous Paco Rabanne dress, which is sort of the only avant-garde color option that we're actually seeing, which I think is beautiful. And then we get over to Poppy Delevingne, who's wearing Christopher Kane, who's known for really creative silhouettes and cutouts. Kendall Jenner, on the other hand, in Balenciaga, very similar to her sister, and yet an entirely different look. And then one of my favorites, Laura Harrier in off-white, super gorgeous dress, great train. And last but not least, 100% my favorite, Tessa Thompson killing it in Schiaparelli, a haute couture, and I mean just really leaning in every single avant-garde way. And I am dead. I'm dead for it.
Yeah.
Put me in the grave now.
And some of those looks, those more avant-garde, actually were the ones that seemed to have the most fun. They were the most kind of over the top, but at the same time, beautiful arrangements and creations.
Absolutely. And that's what's so fun about avant-garde fashion. You can really lean into all these different moments that are exciting. You know, you can play with different textures, materials. And I think that that really takes something, you know, sort of out of the ordinary beyond just, say, the sheer or barely there trend. It kind of takes us into something that's more structural and can really be photographed and editorial. And just like that Tessa Thompson look, I'm sorry, it's just so gorgeous. I can't end it. I can't end my conversation about it. And I'm sure it's not the easiest to run around in, but still great.
So it seemed like another thing that happened at these after parties was it was the night of apparently the baby blue suit. We have to ask you, who do you think wore it best?
So yeah, we saw Cody Smith-McGee over on the runway. He was wearing a baby blue suit, you know, which was something that was really exciting. It was from Bogota. We're not usually used to seeing a man in baby blue. All of a sudden we get to the Vanity Fair after party and we've got Jon Batiste, we've got Chase Stokes, we've got Dan Levy, and they're all in baby blue. And I will tell you, I asked my followers this morning, I said, hey, who do you think wore it better? And I 100% agree with them that it's Dan Levy.
Yep. I agree as well. What is Dan
Just
Levy?
again, all new heights.
What is he wearing? Do we know? His just looks a little bit different. I mean, everyone looked great in that, but it is also weird to show up to a party where you're like, oh, same kind of attire.
I know. It's not really something you're used to seeing, especially when it comes to men's fashion, and even more so in color. None of these looks were sort of credited to any designer, which I think is also very interesting, that they're all emerging, people kind of playing with new things and saying, we don't necessarily have to go with a heritage house. We can try something new.
I love that. That's actually the best part of this whole segment is like trying something new. There are plenty of young and up and coming designers out there with some beautiful pieces. So it's good to see that celebrities are using them and highlighting them in this manner because someone's going to Google search and someone's going to find out and also support that designer as well after seeing Dan Levy looked great.
Oh, I know. It's such a fantastic look. And I'm so thrilled that, we're just seeing so much more creative men's fashion. If you do Google the Vanity Fair looks, we're seeing Lakeith Stanfield in interesting things. We're seeing Donald Glover in interesting things. Just these really oversized, interesting looks for men that, are very atypical to what you're normally used to seeing.
All right, Heather, thank you. Thank you for ending your week with us as well. Make sure you guys, in the meantime, follow Heather on Instagram. That's @Heather Newberger. And then you can pick up her book, How to Date Your Wardrobe. We'll see you again soon.